Hi all, welcome to the Python programming series. In this video, I will show you some simple programs in Python. Let's say the first program, it is to find the roots of a quadratic equation. Quadratic equation means equation in the form ax square plus bx plus c. To get the roots of the quadratic equation, we need to look at the discriminant. Based on the discriminant, first, we need to calculate the discriminant, that is b square minus 4ac. Based on that, there will be three chances. One is there is two different roots. Then second chance is both the roots are equal, and the third chance is the roots are imaginary. So how we can implement that using a Python program? Let's see. For finding the SQRT, we need math module. So first we are importing the math module and we need the value of a, b and c of this quadratic equation. So that is inputted from the keyboard and both this a, b and c are inputted with a single statement. Here, after getting the value as a tuple, we are splitting that and converting that to integer and storing that to a, b and c. So a, b and c, they are integers. Now after getting the value of a, b and c, first thing we need to check is whether it is a quadratic equation. If a is 0, it is not a quadratic equation. So first we are checking if a is equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, it is not a quadratic equation. So we are stopping from here. Otherwise, it is a quadratic equation and we need to calculate the discriminant, and based on the discriminant we are moving further. Discriminant is b square minus 4ac, that is calculated and that is stored to a variable called d here, and first we are checking whether d greater than 0. If d is greater than 0, we have two different roots, that is minus b plus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, that is the first root, and second root is minus b minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So here b square minus 4ac is already calculated and stored to the variable d. So our equation will become minus b plus math dot sqrt to find the square root. Square root of d is calculated and that is used in the equation, and the whole divided by 2 times a. Then second root is also calculated. The difference is here instead of plus it is minus, and both the roots are displayed here. Then second case of discriminant, that is d equal to 0. So d is 0, that is square root of 0, that is 0 there. So minus equation reduced to minus b by 2a. So r1 and r2 both are equal. It is minus b by 2a. That is calculated and displayed like this. If that is also not the case, the third case arises, that is roots are imaginary or complex. So that is also displayed. That's all the first program, that is quadratic equation solver. Now let's execute this program. When we execute this, we have to enter the value of a, b and c. Let me enter that 1. So you will get the value, both the roots are equal and it is minus 1 and second one is also minus 1. Let's execute this program once again. See, we are getting two different roots, two real roots. So this is our program. Now let's see our second program, that is factorial of a number. Factorial means the product of all the numbers lesser than that till the 1. So here in this program, we are first inputting the number, which numbers factorial we want to see, that is inputted. Then after that, if the number is a negative number, then its factorial is not defined. It does not exist. So we are first checking that. That is, if this number, a num less than 0, then we are displaying this message. That is, sorry, factorial does not exist for negative numbers. And if our num is 0, then 0 factorial is 1. So that value we are displaying using a print. If it is a positive number, we need to calculate the factorial. So we are calculating the factorial and storing to a variable called factorial. We are initializing that variable to 1. Then using a for loop and a range. That means in this range, we are starting from 1 and till num. The stop value is num plus 1. So each time the value of I will be increased, and that will be multiplied to this factorial, so that after the completion of this loop, you will get the factorial of the number. Let's execute this program. Let's find the factorial of 5. See, it is 120. This is our third program. We are checking whether a number is prime or not. To check whether a number is prime or not, we need to generate the factors. The prime numbers must have only 1 and that number as the factors, no other factors allowed. So if any other factors are generating, that means the number is not prime. Let's see how we can do this as a program. First, we need to input the number. Input function takes the value as string, so that is converted to integer and stored to NVM. So num is an integer. Now the entered number may be a positive number, negative number, or 1. So if it is 1, 1 is neither prime nor composite. So let's check that first. If num is equal to 1, we are printing it is neither prime nor composite. Now, if the number is greater than 1, this much code we are doing. That means if the number is greater than 1, there is a chance for a prime number or not prime number. So let's find out. So first we need to generate the factors. For generating the factors, we need a for loop. The for loop need to be start from 2, not 1. 1 is already factor for all the numbers. So we are starting from 2 and till the half of the number. So to get the half of the number, we need to divide it by 2. But here floor division needed. We just need the integer part only. Otherwise this will generate a error. So we are using double slash here. Then I is generated using this range. Then for each I we are checking whether I is divisible by num. If it is perfectly divisible by num, that means n modulus I is equal to 0. If it is perfectly divisible, then that means it's a factor. So you can say that number is not a prime number. So if it is a factor, we are simply displaying this number is not a prime number. So we have come to a conclusion. So no need to go further. So we are jumping out from the loop using this break. Then if this loop is completely comes to an end, that means that number is a prime number. That means it is going from 2 to till the half of the number. So no factors in between. That means this number is a prime number. So we are adding a else part to this for loop. This else part is the part of this for loop. In the else part, we are displaying that it is a prime number. This is the case if the number is greater than 1. Now if the number is less than 1, then it is not a prime number. That is mentioned in this else part. So this is our prime number checker program. Let's execute this one. I'm entering 17. It's a prime number. Once again, I am executing the same program. This time I am entering 50, which is not a prime number. Now let's look at the fourth program, which is searching an element of a list. Here we need to input the list and also the element to be searched. Then we need to traverse through the list and find out whether this item to be searched is present there in the list. So let's find out the program. We are inputting the list to L. We are inputting this list using this statement to a variable called L. Then here eval function is used. So you have to enter the data, that means the list data, within the square bracket. Then item to be searched is inputted to item. So list and item to be searched is ready there. Now let's traverse through the list. For traversing, we need a for loop. So this for loop variable is I and it is ranging from 0, that means the first index, till the last index. Length of L is giving the length of the list. Then that is the stop value. That means it goes till this len of L minus 1. So this is the stop value. So that means it will traverse through the entire list. For each value of I, we are checking whether this L of I is equal to item. If this is equal to item, definitely the item is there in the list. Then we are simply displaying the index and also the position. Index is I, position will be 1 plus that index. So I plus 1 is displayed there. Now once it is found out, we are just going out of the loop by simply using the statement break. If this loop is fully over, that means the element is not there in the list. That is checked by the else statement of this for loop. This else is part of this for loop. So if the loop is completely over, this will execute this print statement. That means specified item not found in the list. That's all this search program. Let's execute this one. So be careful while entering the data because I have used the eval function there. So I'm just inputting the numbers within the square bracket so that it is a list. We have inputted the list. Now the item to be searched, let me find this 20. 20 is at the index 1 and at the position 2. Indexing always starts from 0. So 10th index is 0, 20 is 1. So it is correct. This is how we execute that program. Once again, I am executing the same program. I am inputting the same value and I am searching 22 there in this list. That is not present. So it is showing this message. Now let's see our fifth program, that is to find the sum and average of an element of a list. Here in this program we are using a function to calculate the sum and average, that means the mean. So here we are defining a function sum mean and the list is passed to this function. Then to calculate the sum we need a variable, and for calculating the sum we need a variable sum and that is initialized to 0. Then traverse through the entire list, just take each element of the list for I in my list, then add that value to the sum. After completion of this loop, sum will be there in SUM. So we are just displaying the sum. After getting the sum, we can calculate the mean or the average. So mean is calculated by dividing the sum by length of that my list. That means the count, how many items are there in the list. That will be produced by the len. So dividing by the count, sum divided by the count will give you the mean. That means the average. Then that is also printed out. While printing, we are using the round function to round this average value to 2 decimal places. Then this is the function. We need to call this function. So here in the program, we are first inputting the list to L. Then after inputting, we need to pass this list L to the sum mean function. So we are calling this function sum mean and passing this L, and that will be accepted to my list and the program are done. And the sum and average is calculated in this function. Let's give the list 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's see The sum is 100. 40 plus 30 plus 20, 10. That is 100. The average is 25. So we have calculated the sum and the average. Now let's look at the sixth program. Find the minimum and maximum element of a list. Here also we are using a function min max for calculating the minimum and also our sixth program, that is to find the minimum and maximum element of a list. To find this, we are using a min max function. Here this function also accepts the list, my list, and finding the minimum and also the maximum and returning both the values together. And in the main part, we are just calling this min max function here. Now let's look at this min max function. Here list is accepted. Then we are setting the first element as the min and max element. So initially we are considering the min and max both as the first element. That is, first element index is 0. So my list of 0 will be the min and max. Then we are using a for loop to traverse through the rest of the part. So in this for loop, we are starting from 1, index 1, not from 0. First element is already taken as the min and max. So we need to traverse from the next element, that is 1, index 1, till the last. That means length of my list will give you the length, that is the stop value. That means length of my list minus 1 will be the last element, index. Then each time we are checking whether that element is the new minimum element. If we are getting a minimum element than this min, then that value will be set as the minimum element. Min will be my list of I. Then in the same loop itself, we are checking for the max element also. Here we are checking whether this element, taken element, is greater than this max element. If that is happening, then max element is set as the new taken element. That means my list of I. After the completion of this loop, min and max contains the minimum and the maximum element. So that is returned back to the calling area. So in the main program, main part, we are first inputting the list. Then we are using EVAL function. So you have to enter the elements within the square bracket. Then we are calling the min-max function and passing the list L. Then this function will return the minimum and the maximum value here. So that we need to print it out. So we are just printing the minimum value and also the maximum value. Let's execute this program. Let's give this same list. Yeah, the minimum value is 10 and the maximum value is 40. It's working correctly. Now let's see our seventh program, that is random number generator. That means simulation of a die. Here for generating random number, we need the random module. So we are importing that. And in this program, I applied some delays. For that, I need this time module also. At the beginning of the program, I just want to give some instruction to the user. That is, to see the random number. That means to stop the tossing, we need to press Ctrl C. We need an interrupt. So for that, we need to press Ctrl C. That instruction I need to give. So I am printing this message, and after that a delay is also given. That means the user gets enough time to read this message. Then I am using a variable called play and initializing that to y. And here I am using a loop. This loop still this y, play is y. Then here a try catch exception is used here. This is the try block and a keyboard interrupt. That means I ask the user to press Ctrl C. So the keyboard interrupt is used to check Ctrl C is pressed. Here an infinite loop is used. It is generating the numbers 1 to 6. Here rand int will generate a number, integer number between 1 and 6. So that is accepted to n, and that n is displayed on the screen. Then a sleep, that means the delay is applied, and this process will continue till the user applies an interrupt, keyboard interrupt. So when a keyboard interrupt is used, then it is showing your number is this. At that time, when we apply the keyboard interrupt, what number is there, that will be displayed as your number. Then it is asking whether you want to play more. If that is yes, that is we are converting. The user may input capital letter Y or small letter y. So we are converting that answer to lowercase and checking it with y. If it is y, this will continue. If it is not y, that we are setting this play as n, so that this loop, while loop, will ends. And before ending this outer loop, we just want to display exiting with a delay. So that is done using this for loop. We are just displaying each value of this string exiting, and after that a delay is applied, so that it will take some time, and then after displaying exit, it will comes out of the program. So here there is a break is also applied if it is not equal to yes. If it is yes, definitely, if the answer entered by the user for play more is yes, then it won't goes through any of these statements. It directly goes to the while, and again the same process will continue. That means random numbers are generating, and user can play more. So this is the random number generator program. So let's execute this one. This is the initial message, and random numbers are generating one by one. And if I want to interrupt, I can apply Ctrl C. See, this my number is 6. Then if I want to play more, I can press yes. Again numbers are generating. I can apply interrupt. If I want to stop the game, I can simply press N. That means that exiting with a delay it is showing and ending the program. This is our random number generator program. Now let's see our 8th program. This program use dictionary and also list. The program is we want to see the mostly occurring word in phishing emails, common word. So this email address we are storing using a list. And using a dictionary, I am storing each words of this and checking which is the most occurring word in a dictionary. So I am declaring an empty dictionary called D. Then each element of this list is taken using this for loop. Each element of the list is taken using this for loop. Each element is taken as I. Then I am applying the split function here. Split based on the delimiter at the rate. So each word jackpot win, that will be the one word, lottery.com will be the another word, like that it will be split up and it is stored to ADDR. So the first email address jackpot win will be the first word and lottery.com will be the second word. So two words, as it will be taken as two words. Then for each word of ADDR, we are storing that to the dictionary. The occurrence, how many times it will be there, that is stored to the dictionary. See, if the word is first, if that word is not present in the dictionary, we are storing that to the dictionary. Otherwise, if the word already exists in the dictionary, we are counting 1 to that. So, if word not in dictionary, we are using the membership operator not in to check whether this word is there in the dictionary. So, if word not in the dictionary, then we are storing the dictionary element. We are adding a new dictionary element, that is D of word, then its value we are storing 1 to that. So, a new item is added to the dictionary. If the word is already exist in the dictionary, that means this is false. Then it will comes to this else part, and we are adding 1 to the value of that dictionary key element. So D of word, this will takes the key and 1 will be added to the value of that key. Plus equals, that is a shorthand operator. This is equivalent to D of word equals D of word plus 1. So 1 will be added up to this dictionary. So we are splitting each words of the email from the at the rate and splitting that to different words, and each word is stored to the dictionary, and we are counting how many words are there. Then when this loop is over, the dictionary contains all the words and how many times the word is present in the list. That is also there. Now we need to check which is the maximum occurring word. For that, we are using the max function of dictionary. So max function, it can be applied to dictionary also. So first we need to pass the dictionary as argument. First argument must be the dictionary, and second argument we need the key of that, the maximum occurring key we need, not the value. So for that purpose we are using key equals d dot get key with maximum value. That is happening here, and that maximum occurring key is stored to a variable called a key max. We are just simply using a variable for that, and that variable is displayed as the most commonly occurring word. So in this program, we are storing the email address in a list called a phishing email, and using a dictionary, we are splitting each words and storing each words to the dictionary, and its count is also stored as value. Word as the key and its count as the value. Then we are finding the maximum occurring word with the max function. Lottery.com is the maximum occurring word in our given phishing email list. So that's our 8th program. In this video, we have covered up all simple programs using if else, for, while, list, dictionary, tuple, string. In next video, let's cover up the data file handling programs. Thanks for watching.